I was definitely dancing.
I love that jam. Yeah, I get into it.
Yeah.
I get spaced out.
Yeah, Salima, everyone. Welcome. Today is March 12th. Yes, that's the one. And I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Niki Tenn of RebelutionAstrology. I am the other co-host, Abbey Quinn of SumerianAstrology.com. So all our information is going to be in the video description. You can definitely check that out. If you are new here, do us a favor, hit like. That helps other people find this video. Obviously, you can subscribe so you can keep seeing cool videos like this. And drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Even if you're watching the replay, put the comment in there. That also helps us. And it's cool to know like where all of our viewers are from. So hey, everybody out there in the chat. I know we just started, so I'm not sure where it's actually streaming or if it's still buffering, but I see Lorna's on there. Hi, Lorna. It looks like it's raining where she's at. We got like 6 inches of snow the other day, so that was nice. I was in Moscow yesterday, and I saw little buds popping out on the trees. I'm like, oh my God, you guys have like real springtime already? We got another month still, which is fine. It's fine. If it's going to be cold, I'd rather it be snowy and stuff, so... but yeah, so anyways, you guys, today we're going to talk about myriad things, but I do want to get Niki's take on the full moon in the eclipse that's coming up. That is not in Pisces. It's not in Pisces, you guys. I promise you it's not. Yeah, so Niki, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and whatever you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I'm a, God, I guess, yeah, I use the sky when I do my astrology, like
controversial.
Well,
it's very controversial.
But I mean, I'm low key trying to be, I guess. You know, I'm trying to learn all the sciencey stuff that goes around it, and but it, you know what? It works. It's accurate. If you're new here, you know, we use the real sky, so that's probably why you're here, because you're like, why the fuck isn't astrology working? Well, it's because they're not using the real sky. Simple as that. So what do I want to talk about today? Oh my God, you put it on me. Oh, definitely like the full moon. I mean, we get one every month. So I mean,
we sure do.
Yeah, this one's special because it's a like lunar eclipse, and it's supposed to be like a mark of endings, big endings. And
is it?
Oh my God, if you look at YouTube and you look at some of the stuff, like it's just been insane. Like big changes are coming, big, and they, you know, I feel like everybody says that all the time. So I guess it depends on the individual.
I don't know. I try to find, so when I dig out clips, like video clips for us to watch it towards the end part of the show, I try to find astrology stuff, and the algorithm does not let, there's either nothing on YouTube or the algorithm just will not let me escape the other crazy stuff that I'm usually looking at. So I got some stuff out today, but not anything about the spooky craziness that they say is happening. This is the wrong date. Hold on, I gotta go back. Where's my date? It's not gonna let me. It's gonna, if I try to pop it out. Come on, you. Date and time. There you are. I couldn't find you. I got this for the 17th. We're on the, what is today? The 12th. 12 right there. All right. I guess it is kind of what am I looking at, Niki? Hold on.
I don't know. I think what, it's the 14th is the, well, yeah, that's today, right?
Yeah, I guess technically we could call it Pisces, but it sure is at 9 degrees of Pisces. It's not, they think it's like way over here. It's for sure not. No, and I don't know what this green blob is on my screen today, guys. I would close out and hope if I reopened it that it would work, but I'm just gonna assume that it's not gonna, so we'll just have to deal with it. I hope you like the color green. I hope it brings love and healing into your life to look at this.
Yeah, it activates your heart chakra.
Yeah.
Which your chakra class, by the way, was really awesome. I got a lot out of it. Yes.
I appreciate that so much.
Oh, all of that's been swimming in my head. I'm like, ooh, I could use this for this. I can use this for that. So yeah, I definitely got a lot out of that.
Good. I'm so glad. I had fun doing it, but I am so glad that it's over, and I will not be putting another course together until at least next year because it took so much out of me. I did have fun doing it, but I tend to really just go on a tangent and get all the information, which I guess is good when you're learning something. I've done a handful of courses over the years, and I've actually seen some people have sent me like a course that they bought, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. I don't know what this is. I don't know why you paid so much money for this, and I feel terrible. So I just try to make it so that other people don't have to be sucked into that quite as much. So.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that. Well, like the Sun and Saturn are together.
Yeah, they are for sure.
I think that's been a really good combination. It's been really good for me. I've been getting my shit together. I've been getting stuff done. I've been feeling a lot more like energized and organized. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've just been feeling like all the best and better like qualities of Saturn. Like, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, you'll read things about Saturn being causes depression, makes you feel bad. And yeah, he's going to make you sad and totally like F with you. And you know, some of these things I read, I'm like, wow, you know, I got to double check.
Horrible.
I cross-check. I'm a feely person, okay? And I usually, whatever I'm feeling, there's like some type of astronomical alignment that, you know, I totally like line it up with. Sometimes it's more than one. But this one has just been a really good, really, really good feeling for me anyways. Working out for me. I don't know about anybody else and how it's playing out in your chart. But
yeah, I like it too. I'm definitely
embracing, you know, responsibility, getting a lot more organized, deciding what I want to do with my finances, becoming a lot more future orientated, taking a lot of what I've learned the past few months and just, you know, initiating different changes, building on different things and different ideas and different, you know, work related ideas that I've had. As well. And I feel like a lot of other people are in that same boat. Like, what do I want to do? What's, you know, the world is changing and so am I. So what direction am I going to go in? And the eclipse is one of those things, you know, the eclipse season, it just portends change and it's always on a karmic level on, you know, it includes everybody because I mean, the moon, you know, kind of shows us what the mood, you know, and the nodes are, you know, what the whole mood is really for the world, not just, you know, my country, not just the United States. Sometimes I think some of us who live in the United States forget that there's a whole nother world out there too. So, I mean,
it happens.
I do. I mean, we were kind of raised that way in the 80s. They were like, oh my God, the United States, we're like the best. And they were still like, running off of that, like we won World War II shit, you know, like
yes,
we came in and we did it. Like we got big balls, and that was really a lot.
it still continues, and you see it. Yeah. So when you and I've never been to South America or Central America, so I don't know how it goes over there. But I know in Europe. Pick a country in Europe. If you go to that country and you turn on the news, they're talking about everything going on all over Europe. They're not just focused on the one country. And maybe that's because, you know, that most of the countries are a lot smaller. I don't necessarily think it is. I think that's just the mentality of living in, you know, a place like that where other countries they're operated. It's like a big family as opposed to the United States where, you know, a lot of people in the United States have never left the country. They've never even gone to Canada or Mexico. So they're just not, they just don't care. They don't think about it. And, you know, I mean, whatever, I guess that's fine. But yeah, you're right. We tend to just see whatever's going on in the mainstream Western news media. Well, that must be what's going on all over the world. And of course, that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, the United States is going through some changes. So, and it affects everybody else too.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah.
International relations. All of that stuff. So, I mean, yeah. But I mean, personally, you know, this could show up in a few different ways for people, not just, you know, relationships or careers. I mean, this lunar eclipse, you could be letting go of like outdated concepts about yourself. This could be an internal process where you're just letting go of negative thoughts or negative feelings you have about yourself and who you are. You could embrace just a whole new path. It could, your relationships could be fine. Don't stress out about that, because I think a lot of what I've seen out on, the internet, there's a lot of emphasis on, relationships are ending. And that might be true for some, but that's not true for everybody.
Sure. Somewhere in the world, relationships are ending.
But don't feel like you're zeroed out. Like, oh my God, it's happening in my 7th house. So now I'm screwed and like my relationship.
Right.
No, I mean, you could just take a different path with this person. You just decide that you change or transform the relationship. I mean, there are endings that do come. I mean, personally, I'm dealing with like a second 8th house access. And for real, it's all of those things. I've got some endings and financial stuff and, relationship stuff. It's all that second 8th house bullshit. And I'm dealing with it, but I've been dealing with it. So I think if there's something ending, if there's something that's happening, it's not like one event, that's going to happen right now. This eclipse happened, so now my life is changed. It's a domino effect. There's a lot of different things that have already been happening in your life that are going to push, whatever changes come with this eclipse season forward. Just my opinion. But in astrology, it's never really been like, let's, pinpoint, an exact date and time and this event is going to happen. Which I'm sure there are some, astrologers that can do that. But when it comes to eclipse season, it comes to, the karmic nature of all of it and the world. I mean, it's really tailored and specific, for each person. What I think is really cool, and when I looked ahead at the charts, this is before I even realized it was an eclipse season. This was last year when I'm putting all my charts together. It's in that cusp of the Leo Virgo cusp. We've got the South Node in Virgo, and I think the full moon is going to be right in Leo Virgo, right in that area, right in that cusp. And it reminded me of what I read in Dane Rudhyar's book. He wrote, it's in a few of his books. I think it's an Astrological Timing. I might have read it, and then I also read it in, I think it's, I don't know, it's one of his cycles. Oh, fuck, I can't recall. But he talks about,
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So he talks about that area being, symbolized by the Sphinx. The Sphinx, and it marks a symbolized path of initiation in certain occult groups. So it's accepting the fact that you have to overcome your fierce pride, your ego-centered, isolation and love for drama, and to become a servant to humanity. And that's what he talks about in that area. And I've just always never not seen it as the Sphinx after I read that. So it's definitely, I think, an eclipse that is an initiation really into something brand new, wrapping up old karmic cycles. I mean, we're getting a lot of support from Uranus and Pluto. There's a grand trine going on with the moon and Uranus, Pluto, South Node. I mean, that's all building on new things, building on new structures, and laying out the groundwork for something new, that could be career-wise. It could be, it's really just kind of laying something out there so you can build something that can have a long-lasting effect, long-lasting legacy. We're talking about, with Saturn being involved, long, standing responsibilities. This is something that isn't going to be very quick or easy. I mean, this is is Saturn involved? I mean, it's in it for the long term. Whatever decisions you make, whatever things you decide to change, I mean, Saturn's really encouraging something that's, you know, going to help you build a future, you know, a long-term future. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from the full moon. You know, I like the Uranus aspect. I think it adds a lot of the like community relationship aspect to other people and kind of influencing that way. I like Uranus as the rebel, the revolutionary, you know, guy, you know, thinking about him as Prometheus. I just love that whole idea. But it not in the way that astrology uses, where like he's just going to flip your whole world upside down. He radicalizes it, and it's not like that. Not in Taurus anyway. I mean, I think Uranus and Taurus has been a really good energy. He's been hanging out over my Venus, and you know, when I saw that last year that he was like coming for me, I was like, oh. And I'm experiencing it, and I'm like, well, this is the most wonderful, awesome energy. Like, it's definitely spurred a lot of change that I probably, I don't know, wouldn't have done. And it's exciting and it's amazing. And it's not wackadoodle out there kind of stuff. You know, I didn't, you know, I didn't change careers, you know, dramatically. I didn't do any dramatic ass stuff. I mean, it was all a process.
I didn't either.
Change. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he does bring change. He does bring a more of a enlightened, radical view. But is he turning tables and flipping shit upside down? I don't know. Maybe if it was a square. But he's making a really nice aspect. So change definitely is in the forecast.
Yeah.
Especially with that aspect from Pluto too in Capricorn. That's also supporting transformation and change. I like Pluto a lot, actually. And when I think about Pluto being, you know, more of that, not the bringer of darkness, more like this, you know, sage type energy, you know, magic and mystery and all of that. And I just, I think that aspect adds a little bit of a intuitive, you know, psychic kind of feel to it. You know, where is your soul wanting to lead you? This is all super spiritual, you know? I mean, we have all of these new structures and this new stuff going on, and it's stirring people up inside. I mean, whatever we want to do, I mean, we've got Neptune there kind of guiding us, kind of showing us where the truth lies in things. I mean, that might be argued, you know, Neptune's got a reputation for being the master of illusion and delusions and things like that. But in this case, I'm not feeling that at all. I've actually been seeing a lot more truths be revealed, a lot more stuff get dug up and come out. I think also too, with it being on the North Node, and we've had this for a while, we've had this conjunction coming for a while, it has been stirring a lot of folks up in what direction do they want to take? Where do they want to follow? Where's their heart leading them? You know, what kind of person are you, and where are you going with this? You know, it's really, I've seen people in the last 6 months completely metamorphosize and change and go in completely different directions they never thought they would go in. Like, I have a client who I've been reading for when she comes to my store. I've been reading for her, and so we've been back and forth for a few months now, at least 6 months. And she wasn't like even into the type of astrology I'm into, but we're learning so much from each other. And now, you know, she has a Pluto conjunct Uranus in her 11th house, I believe. And so now she is actually working with the city, working with the homelessness communities, and working within the, you know, just basically helping, you know, in our, she's doing a whole lot. I mean, it's more than I could even list. She's meeting with the mayor, she's organizing stuff, she's working luncheons and helping and organizing other people who are misfortune, you know, are falling under misfortune. So I mean, I'm seeing personally a lot more people deciding to follow their true path, the things that have been yanking on them and pulling on them for a really long time. Like, give it up, you know, just allow it to happen. And that's what we have to do in Pisces, because Pisces is the moon card. We don't really know, what's down the path. We just know that we have to follow it, and that's how we get it. We get through. The only way out is through. The only way to get there is through. So I don't know. And then we've got that transition of the node, the south node, that's going to be happening soon too. And that emphasis on going into Leo. And the Virgo is like the hermit card, and Leo's strength. So we're going to be embracing a lot of our strengths and moving into a whole new world. I mean, seriously, we got like a whole new world order happening again. I mean, come on, don't freak out, guys. This happens all the time. Yes. Nobody's just alive long enough to see it. So we'll be fine. If we all made it through the 9/11 days, we're going to make it and weather through whatever the hell happens next. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is interesting though.
Yeah. Oh, those were interesting times, weren't they? I know. My first thought was I should have children. Like, oh, the world needs like better people in it. I just need to have more children. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I mean, I'm glad I did it. I mean, I like my people. I love my little tribe. Hell yeah. Good. Yeah. But I guess that's what I have. I mean, that's what I've been seeing. I mean, it's all squaring the galactic center and the silver gates. And you had mentioned it a while before in your video. Oh, you did it. Well, you mentioned it a few times, how really, really karmic in nature this all is, with it squaring, those gates. And those are super charged areas in the sky that I really haven't quite gotten a grip on myself. I just know they're very psychic, very intuitive. Just that energy is coming from another dimension or something. So a lot of the people I meet who have placements there are extremely in tune to forces that I've never. I'm like shocked sometimes, like, wow, how do you know that? Then you see their chart and you're like, oh, holy shit. Like my boss, but the guy I work with, absolute genius. Okay. This man is an absolute genius. And it was bothering me the other day. And I'm like, okay, I've looked at his chart 100 times. How does he know all this shit? And I go back and I look, and there's his Uranus and Mercury all conjunct right there on the galactic center. Like all right there, and a bunch of other placements too. And I was like, oh, and I don't know why it took me so long. I've been reading this chart for like the last 2 years. I was like, oh my God, yeah, wow. Like, that's why you never sleep. And he was like, yeah, holy shit.
That sounds right, yeah.
So how can I sleep? I'm like, well, you got to get out in nature more. And he's like, no, I work too much. I'll do it. But that's just, an example. There's been plenty more. So plenty more people with those placements, and they're incredibly gifted. So some people just don't know. I think some people get that energy and they're like, don't know why they don't sleep, and they're freaking out, and they've just never had an astrology reading. They don't know.
Yeah, or a good one.
Yeah, or a good one.
That's definitely likely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Lorna says, excellent points, Niki. Definitely feeling the path line up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been in the past at least month or two. They've been feeling these energies, and a lot of us are really feely, intuitive people. The dominoes have just been falling in the right places for the right things, and you'll notice doors shut that aren't for you, and it might be disappointing, but get over it, because there's going to be other doors opening. Just be patient. And with Saturn being involved, patience is going to definitely be a factor. You're going to have to do that. That's an ingredient I wasn't created with. I was something.
Patience. Yeah, I am still working on that one. It's so
Yeah,
much better than it was, but yeah, definitely wasn't
I
programmed
talk
like
to
that.
Spirit all the time. I'm like, I know you know, so just to give me what I want now. Like, why do I have to wait? And I don't know. Like, I can't see them sometimes, so I'm sure they're looking at me like, this bitch.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I have lots of conversations with Spirit, and I sometimes feel like I'm the only one talking. They're just there. And they're just looking at me like, the fuck is she on?
They're definitely talking to you, Niki. They talk to you.
Oh my God, they are. I've been getting synchronicities like crazy. So maybe I'm not alone. Maybe other people are experiencing this too, but seeing numbers and number sequences and just it nonstop. Like find a penny on the floor. I found little hearts, just like I'm finding little hearts on the ground everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, I love you guys.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's just, dude, what's up with that cool green stuff?
Video card issue.
I love it.
Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. So
I love that. It's like adding a little crown onto it.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's what I have for this full moon. I mean, it's going to be like any other full moon. You're going to have this accumulation of the new you know, this is from like, yeah, the accumulation of the new moon cycle. So, I mean, this is at its peak and then it's all wrapping up from there. So it's not like something new starts, you know, it's just an accumulation of the energy. It's there. So whatever's been happening has been happening for the past few weeks and maybe even months or longer. And, you know, I think it's time to just take care of business. I mean, really, for some folks, it's like just time, you know, time to make some changes. And how that shows up for you, I mean, it could just be mental. I mean, it could just be changing the way you feel about yourself and your self-worth. And are you going to grab the bull by the horns this time, or are you going to play small and sit back and let other people do all the things that you want to do? I mean, it's a big time. It's a big time to change, and it's a good time because I feel like it's supported. It's supported by, I don't know, the universe, the powers that be, whatever you believe in. I mean, they're constantly supporting you. So I think whatever changes you make are definitely thumbs up. I don't know. What do you think?
You said something earlier, and I think it was about the eclipse in particular, but you had said something about like, I don't know, it was something about like your thought patterns and stuff, maybe changing. So I had to go to Moscow. I'm extra dumb today. If you haven't figured it out, like my brain is way more melty than usual. And that's because I didn't get a lot of sleep the last few days. I just needed a notary, and the only one in the country is in Moscow. So I had to go there, and I just got back last night. But anyways, while I was there, I was listening to some audiobooks. I have nothing to do except power walk downtown, which I definitely did. And, you know, be on the airplane, wait on in the airport. And I listened to 2 different books. I can't remember the names of either of them. I will get back to you. But in the process, I'm hearing, one of them was Eileen Day McCusick's. It's the newer one she's got, not the biofield tuning one, but the other one is like something about raise your vibration. That definitely wasn't the name. She's big on not raising the vibration because she doesn't want you to think one vibration's worse than another. Well, I can't think of it here. I'll tell you what it was. And the other one was about plasma physics. Okay, so I realized that's probably not the most interesting read to most people, but it was really cool. But anyways, as I'm listening to these different ideas, I listened to a third one too about an Agori sadhu. And anyway, so I'm listening to this book. So one of the things that I'm realizing about myself is how many programs I still have that I'm really good. You guys, I tell you this all the time. I promise you, I'm the happiest person you've ever met. I live in a state of gratitude and bliss all the time. A few months back, I cracked my face on a door. Like the swingy thing didn't come out, and I got hit in the face with this door. I thought for sure that I was gonna have like a black eye. I'm not sure how I didn't lose a couple of teeth. And as soon as I got smacked by like I got hit by this door, and the first thing that happened in my brain is the pain is surging through my eyes. I am so grateful that this happened. Thank you so much, because like and I went through all the myriad things. Like I probably the way that I tilted my head just avoided totally losing teeth, and like, but that's how my mind works. Like I immediately go to why this is the greatest thing that could have possibly happened.
I just got that advice this week, actually. Like, okay, so for example, mine isn't like that, but like I went and turned and my purse tipped over and everything flew out of it. And I had just read this, and I read it in, oh my God, I read it in my book that I got from Rio, the astrology journal. And so instead of freaking out, I was like, I took a deep breath and I said, well, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful, because I've been needing to go through that bag anyway.
Exactly. That is a huge shift that most people go through their whole lives and they never get to that point. So congratulations. Welcome to my world, Nikki.
I made it.
Yes, it is a wonderful place. By the way, that book I said I read, it was Electric Body, Electric Health by Eileen Day McCusick. She's the creator of the biofield tuning system and whatnot. And it's a great book and stuff. But anyways, I'm listening to her like bring up these suggestions and, you know, all these different ways that you can tune your biofield and your chakras and stuff. And I'm glad I didn't read it before we did the chakra class this last couple of weeks, because I'd have had so much more information, and I'm just glad that it wasn't that intense. But like I'm hearing her say these things and I'm like, I don't actually need any of those, and probably neither does anyone else. And like even I've been a health nut for probably most of my life. And I've like over the last week in particular, but it really hit me this last 3 days, because it's basically like, you know, I'm just meditating nonstop and I'm just, you know, tuning into whatever information's coming to me because I have nothing else to do. And it really occurred to me like, no, all these things that I've been telling myself about, you know, this is healthy, this is poison, this is, you know, you got to exercise this way, you got to do all this stuff. When you get right down to it, you don't actually have to do any of those things. And it's one thing to know that on, you know, like a conscious level. It's another thing to like feel it and resonate with it and be on that page. Multiple times over the last few days, I felt myself getting sick, and I like basically, I don't want to say I willed it to not happen, but I just reminded myself the truth of, you know, the situation, which is God is constantly recreating you in every instant, and you can direct that creation to be healthy and joyful, and you don't actually need to do the other things. And I've realized on this trip that I've been giving a lot of my power away to just these different ideas and programs, like little ones, like stuff you wouldn't normally think is, you know, necessarily bad. You know, it's not bad to think like, oh, I need, you know, vitamin D to be healthy. Like we need vitamin D to be healthy, right? But there's another way too, which is you don't actually need anything. You can get what you need from source. You just have to kind of direct that. So that was a fun, but that reminded me of what you said, like letting go of these maybe like false perceptions of who you are, and you know, like wrapping some stuff up. So
yeah, totally. I mean, I was thinking about it, and I've been thinking about all the superstitions I've had, you know, that I just don't make sense. Like, why would I think that? Why would I, you know, just dumb shit, just absolute dumb shit. I mean, personally, in my personal life, I mean, I'm going through it, and I'm seeing the end, and you know, for me, for the last 20, you know, something odd years, I've been told by my family, I've been told by, you know, others, like, you wouldn't be anything without your spouse. You wouldn't be anywhere without him.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, wow, thanks. You know, like I'm unable to do anything for myself.
My goodness.
And you know, that whole thing, shit the bed, it's done. And it's like, wow, I'm way fucking happier. Actually, I can do a lot more.
That's
And
so bizarre.
you know, I feel like it was a setup. Universe like set me the fuck up. I know. I'm still like arguing with spirit about that. I'm like, okay, guys, what is this
It's
about?
all, you know what? You got your kids out of it and it's working out in your
Yeah,
favor. You learned a lot.
I
You
did. I
know.
learned a lot. I learned a lot, you know, and it was quite the trip, quite the journey. And you know, I feel like a lot of other people have been going through it too. Like I just met a guy who lost his wife of 25 years, and I don't remember, you know, what happened, how she died, but he's taken the last year to heal, and he's finally ready to go on and move on with his life. And I've just been meeting lots of different people who are getting over these types of things, these types of changes, and it means a lot to them, you know, to embrace their independence and embrace, you know, new feelings about themselves and who they are without, you know, partnerships. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of being here, like as a soul on the planet. Like, who are you without all the labels?
Yeah.
We're still discovering that, you know, we're still figuring it out. So,
Kit Kat says, "Oh my God, yes, over and over. I think this was about the synchronicities. I had a prophetic dream of this lunar eclipse, March 13th, and I felt it was a kind of spiritual death coming, if not realized deaths." Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
Pisces
death
is
is,
ending, so
yeah, death is change and letting stuff go and starting over. I mean, it's not, things have to die. Otherwise, you know,
yeah, I
something.
mean, look at the death card. I mean, Saturn is the death guy, you know, and you've got the skeleton on it. And the whole like skeleton is just the structure, the bones, everything, you know, and that's Saturn. Without your bones, without your structures, I mean, it all falls apart. So, I mean, it's a necessary part of transitioning in life, and changing. So,
Yeah. Lorna said, lots of healing happening for me. Fog lifted a few weeks ago, then series of synchronicities. Took Abby's chakra class. That's right. Putting into practice and healing in my body from old injuries, really awesome. And low part of tribal energy can be stay where you are so I don't have to grow, pushes us to stand up. Yeah, for sure. For sure. The tribal energy, it's good. You know, humans need community. We're wired to need people. Just for our psychology, like we need people around us, but at the same time, that can be limiting. You know, we're also designed not to want to rock the boat, to not want to upset people because we might be kicked out of the tribe and starve to death somewhere in the wilderness. So there's a balance there that we got to strike for sure.
there was a tribe that we read about once back in the 90s. Like, I couldn't tell you what tribe it was because this was like a long time ago. Me and my stoner friends. And this tribe, like, it was in South America, I think. And they would, if you were exiled from the group, okay, they put you in like this hole for a few days and they blew like pot smoke in it and they got you all fucked up and then they sent you out on your way. I remember my friend Dave being like, imagine never ever getting high before, and then they fuck you up, and then you're out on your own. And I just remember that. And I'm like, oh, that would just be so fucked up.
That would be so messed up. That's like the meanest thing you could do.
I know. Well, obviously, they probably had it coming, though. I mean, we're talking about the tribe, and you obviously have to do a lot of bad shit to get there, right? To get exiled out of the village. I don't know. And I'll have to Google it now that I'm...
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see who it was.
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. South American tribes. They're crazy.
Yeah.
They're fun. Yeah, I wonder what happens in South America. I wonder what happens like below the equator. Sometimes.
Like in the Amazon? I don't know, but I wonder about all the time. I just can't. I'm so tuned into the directions. Like the cardinal directions, where the sun is, the moon is rising. Like I don't I don't know. I've just always been like that. I thought it was just a basic grew up in a military family, and like we used to go camping, and they would like leave us kids out in the woods and be like, okay, now you got to find your way back to the wherever. And we're like, here's a compass, and then like here's the map. Now figure it out. And we would do that stuff. So I don't know if it's that, but I've just always had a natural sense of where things are at. And I just feel the thought of living beneath, like moving to Argentina or something, or Australia, and having everything be reversed. Like, I mean, clearly the directions are still the same, but I mean, the sun's now rising all the time, rising and setting in the north, like always. Like, I don't know, that would just freak me out. I don't know that I could handle that big of a shift. I mean, I guess I would adjust to it, but man, I don't know. I just don't think I could do it.
I considered it. I considered moving down there, selling everything, and just, living the life down there and figuring it out. Not knowing that I don't care if I didn't know the language. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that's probably too much. I would
not a good idea.
I would try to get out of Wisconsin first. Yeah, like baby steps. Like first, let's get out of Wisconsin, then go to the Amazon. One step at a time. Kit Kat said exactly. I relate these death events to a few planetary points, including Saturn and Sun together. P.S. It's great seeing you two again. I have to rejoin the meditation group. Yeah, definitely jump on there for sure. We have a rocking good time every weekend from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. On Zoom. Find out more, SumerianAstrology.com. That's where the information is. Yeah.
I love our meditation group. Oh my God, that's how I met a lot of different astrologers. It's how I met a lot of different other like practitioners. Cool people who do cool things. Like, come on.
You got to be cool to like want to do something like that. I mean, it's scary to get on a video call with a bunch of strangers that you don't know. Like, you don't know what you're getting into. We could be total whack jobs, I mean, when we are, everybody is. Anybody cool is definitely a little crazy. Okay. If they're normal, they're probably they're probably not too much fun to hang out with, and your conversations aren't going to be that awesome. But our conversations are great. But yeah, it's worked out. I haven't had to ban anybody from the group yet, or like, have a little chat with someone on the side, like, hey, maybe you should tone down the crazy. None of that. And we talk about all kinds of stuff. We talk about astrology, UFOs, healing, obviously meditation, pretty much anything.
Yeah, nutrition even.
Yeah, nutrition,
we
absolutely.
Talked about diet and nutrition and our bodies and how to get them to work better. I mean, you got issues. I mean, that's where I bring all I am always bitching at the group.
Well, that's what it's a support group. You're supposed to, yeah.
And I get a lot of support, and it's awesome. A whole bunch of different opinions on things and people with different experiences. Like, hello, it's awesome. I don't know. I love our meditation group.
Yeah, me too.
Like, yeah. Oh my God. Okay. What else do we have going on for this full moon? It looks like Mars is making a good trine to, the Sun and Saturn too. So, I mean,
I can bring up the other chart. Do you want me to pull it up real quick? See what we're looking at?
Yeah. Maybe everybody else wants to look at it. I got my chart pulled up too, just so I could see it. Because sometimes I'll write it down instead, and I'll just try to read my notes. But
what day is it? Is this the 14th or the 13th?
The 14th.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you should get hung up on time. It's like
I got mine set for like the other side of the planet, so there might be a big difference on the date. That's why I was asking. Let me see. Let's put it in Detroit, because why not? Why not? Detroit, Kansas? Nope, not that one. Different Detroit. And we said what? The 13th, 14th?
Yeah, 13th, 14th, the 14th, yeah.
Do we know any idea what time?
1:55.
In the morning?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go 0000. How about that? Let's do it. All right, and then let me pull up the guy. This one. Share the screen. Good. All right, you guys can see this, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So there is our full moon, the opposition, scary opposition. It's blocking things. It's ruining your life, right? The opposition. Nope, it's just an alignment. Nothing scary. Yeah, so it is cool. I think it's cool to have the eclipse at the same time we have the conjunction with Saturn and the sun. Now, full disclosure, everyone out there listening, I do not associate Saturn with death on any level. I don't think that there is a death planet. I don't think there's a marriage planet, or what are some of the other ones?
Like a partnership planet.
Yeah, there's not like I think that it's a lot
Planet.
more. It's a little bit more fluid than that. But death, I have not seen. Now, I've gone through hundreds, if not thousands, of charts specifically looking to see if there was a way to identify the time of death, which is something you can check for in retrospect because we know the death dates of many people. Okay, it's not in there. So anybody who's like, "Yep, I predicted somebody's death date," sure. Now that said, if you know,
sure.
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, thanks, sure.
Yeah. But let's say it is different. So if you know somebody's real sick, maybe they're elderly, they're in a coma already, maybe they were in an accident, and now you want to try to pin it down. Yes, you can get a general idea sometimes of when the transition is going to happen. But depending on what planets there are, you don't know if the transition is them leaving their body and moving on to the next wherever, or they're actually just getting healthier and they're going to go back to normal. But you can see the shifts. You just don't always know what those shifts are. So, like I said, I don't really see the death in particular. Not related to either Pisces or anything over here. But that's me. I just haven't seen it data wise. I have seen Sagittarius. I say Sagittarius because Saturn is the Mesopotamian ruler, sarcastic air quotations, of Sagittarius. But Saturn is a success planet. It's a power planet. It's a go out and get what you want out of life planet. It can be a little overbearing sometimes. It can be a little boastful. It has a little bit of Abbey in there. I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay. There's definitely some Abbey in Saturn. But the conjunction with the sun, which happens every year, you guys, it's not in itself too crazy. But in this position, so close to Neptune, I mean, this is a really powerful conjunction. At the same time, we're getting the eclipse. I would say that it's probably pulling in some of this energy. This is a time to go after what you want. I agree with Niki about Neptune and there being like some truths coming out. And people basically not being able to hide behind their bullshit anymore, which is great unless you're the person who's hiding behind the bullshit, in which case I am sorry for you. Right. In that sense, yeah, there could be some reckoning that comes in here, but as long as you are you're taking care of business, you are not posturing or something, this should be a really powerful time. Please meditate regularly anyways, like just as a part of life, but also if you get a chance, like meditate within the next couple of days. It doesn't have to be exactly on the full moon. You get that intense energy like a couple of days on either side of the actual full moon. So see what happens. But I have found Saturn to be very much related to the body as well as the environment, to society. And we can see that in some of the myths with Ninurta. He is a god of wisdom and health and healing and agriculture and commerce. But this will be a great time to meditate on those areas of life. I say meditate, but like spiritual work in relation to your body. Maybe, you're looking for the career change, selling the house, some of those more material related things. With the full moon, technically you can get the energy of the waxing and waning moon. But if you're a little bit later on the other side of the full moon, I would go ahead and start getting rid of stuff. This is a great time to purge. Okay. Not, I don't mean like vomit purging. I mean like, purge all of the toxicity in your life and your relationships and whatever that may be. And as this happens, the sun's going to be creeping closer towards Neptune, which means this is going to pull out a lot of what I have found to be a lot of communication, innovation type of energy. And it's going to be swinging closer to Venus, which is going to soften her as well. Not, she's already in a really soft position here in Venus, which I really like. But I don't know. This looks like a really great time, like even over the next few weeks into the next month. I think this is benefiting everybody all over the world, and I'm digging it. I'm on board with it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm digging it too. I kind of like it.
I do too. Kit Kat says exactly. I relate these death events to a few. Oh, she already said that. Okay, I already read it. So, yeah. I don't know. What do you think about these other? I don't have the aspects all up. I can change my stuff if you want.
Oh, no, that's all right. Well, I mean, we have Venus going retrograde, and then Mercury goes retrograde right during the full moon, or stations the same day. And oh my God, we were talking about it in another group I'm in. And the Venus retrograde, I was like, I'm wondering how this is going to show up for me. And it was superficial and aesthetic, like the way it showed up. But I bought
the retrograde.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, if we're going to relate Venus to beauty and like that kind of stuff, I bought a bag. I bought like a leather bag. I was like, oh, I need a new bag. Okay. Because I'm getting rid of shit. Like this girl here has been purging like no fucking other this last month. I mean, even this last weekend, I'm throwing out clothes. I'm throwing I just keep purging, and it's amazing. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to get a new bag. I get the bag. And I open it up and I take it out of the page, and it's got a big black splotch right on the front of it. I'm like,
where did you buy it from?
Portland Leather, which I buy all my bags from.
And
they're amazing. Okay. They're just amazing. You buy a bag and you never really have to buy another one. Okay. So I could still just use the same bag. It's fine. I didn't need this, but I sent it back. I was like, well, I don't want this shit. Like, ew. Yeah. So then I was like, well, this is weird. Why would this happen? I'm going to attribute it to Venus. My girls, they want, they know. She's like, are you sure you want that? Are you sure you should be doing that? Like, maybe that's it. I don't know. And my girls, like, people have been coming. I'm an ex-hairstylist. People have been coming to me like crazy, and they're like, I need my hair done. I want this 3-hour long thing. I need highlights. I need red. I need pink. I need all this shit. And I'm like, no, not like, first of all, no, I don't have time for that kind of stuff. But then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Why are you doing this? You know, what's the reason for it? You know, and I think it's related to that Venus retrograde, like, and the way people feel about themselves and how they look. And God, we all know when Mercury goes retrograde, you don't fucking cut bangs or do anything like that. Just don't make those changes yet. You know, go get your hair done, you know, go do the things that make you happy. It's not like because these retrogrades are happening, you shouldn't go and make yourself happy and do these.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand that.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing like it kind of get a little odd, a little weird. And I'm like, okay.
Do you think maybe people who's they're just like a mess, that the retrogrades maybe just hit them harder than other people? Yeah. I've never noticed anything negative that happens, but there's always a retrograde planet usually somewhere. Like something's retrograde at some point.
Yeah. I don't know. I've noticed some of the typical things that come up with the retrogrades, like Venus retrograde. Like a lot of people I've talked to have been getting messages from exes, or, you know, they're the ex considering reaching out, you know, like that kind of stuff. I've seen that with the Mercury retrogrades. For me, what it always ends up like showing up as is just like problems with my tech stuff, usually computer problems, or, you know, problems with processing payments at work, you know, just silly things like, it's got to be the retrograde. I mean, that's what I, you know, amounted to. So I don't know, maybe I'm being primitive about it, but I do think there's something to it. And then how we experience it is different for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that goes for everything.
Oh, totally. I mean, Venus retrograde, I don't know. I mean,
well, just like the Mars retrograde. When it went retrograde, you know, things went crazy for you. But on my end, I just felt like this peace, and, you know, everything was flowing wonderfully, and I was really digging it. I really think it just And you know, that's kind of the danger anytime that we are talking about such a blanket general forecast. People really need to understand, like, these things all affect the individual differently, you know, and you got to factor that, which nobody really talks about. I think I try to bring it up like once or twice while we're doing the calls, but it really can be a very personal experience. Kit Kat says, hold on. Interesting, not at all how I have read the charts. That was when we were talking about like things going good here in Pisces. Perhaps it's due to the astrology affecting my own personal chart, or that I read intuitively. I saw problems from March, May to 25. It is possible there's some projection in there. It's also possible that you are a super psychic and you are picking up something that maybe isn't in the chart specifically also, or it's in there, but maybe you're getting more specifics than we might otherwise be able to tell. It also depends, like, who is it bad for? Because things that maybe are bad for the United States might be great in China, you know, like, we have to consider that too. I did ask, oh yeah, Kit Kat says afterwards it will start to get lighter. I asked how Kit Kat maybe saw that. Kit Kat said, sure, I see Mars and Gemini, Venus being in the 7 star sisters, yes, as well as Saturn and Sun pointing more toward war / fear mongering. Yes, is Venus, well, she's not there now. She's not going to be there for a little while. When Venus gets into the Pleiades, that's a legit situation. So hopefully we're not going to have too much chaos out of that. But yeah, that's a dangerous time whenever Venus is over there. As well as Saturn and Sun pointing more towards war / fear mongering. They can in certain situations, but here in Pisces, so a lot of the death and negativity associations that are come with Pisces are actually related to, in the tropical system or in Western classical astrology, the 12th house is related to death. But that is we're going to call that a modern invention, I guess we could say. It's at the earliest, like the Middle Ages, when that really became the way that they counted it. So we don't know for sure the way that the Greeks were counting like the charts. We just know at least by the Middle Ages, the medieval time period, we now have the chart being numbered as it is. As time has gone on, people have looked at that, the place right above the horizon as the 12th house, as being the end. Okay, they even call like Pisces, the 12th house, is like the catch-all. It's where everything comes together. But understand that this was not the end of the chart until very recently. In the Mesopotamian system, that's the first house. That's where everything, when you're an astrologer in ancient times, or hopefully sometime even now, the way that you would know what season it was, when to plant, when to track everything, was you would wait outside until right before the sun came up, just before the colors starting to creep onto the eastern horizon, and you would see what stars were above the horizon. This is the rising sign, right? The ascendant is the mathematical point, or right, maybe we could even say like right on the horizon. But also understand that that point, because the earth is curved, yes, the earth is curved, it is not flat. That point's actually beneath the horizon, but that's, neither here nor there. So this right above the horizon, this was the beginning. This was how they marked the seasons. So the sense of like right above the horizon is which is right here, you guys, what I'm, if you can see on my cursor, that this is somehow the ending. This is just kind of outrageous. It makes absolutely no sense. So any predictions based on the 12th house being like endings and death, I can demonstrate factually. I have enough data. I could do it, and I could debunk that if necessary. But where were we going? Hold on. So Kit Kat's got a bunch of stuff in here. Yes, at some point, Saturn and the Sun, especially if they were conjunct closer to the Pleiades, I would agree that would be a little scarier. Violence against gender, sex, and it is getting heated between people from that perspective. Possibly, but I don't see that particularly in the chart. There's nothing in the chart where there's any type of like anything is like, there's no planet, just like there's no death planet. There's no particular gender planet, sex planet. As a matter of fact, most of the planets were pretty masculine, even Venus. We do have like we have different sexes in the constellations. But I don't know that I would be able to pick that out. So this seems to me like you're probably picking something up that's more psychic or intuitive. Now, you can absolutely be doing that from looking at the chart. I happen to know that this is something that you are great at. So I suspect maybe that's more what that's coming from. And again, is that happening everywhere all over the world, or is it just happening to the United States? And if it's the United States, then we need to we for sure need to compare the transits to what's going on with the country's chart, which we can do. That's definitely doable. Lorna says, both of my Saturn returns have been leveling up, endings, new beginnings. Saturn has been more teacher energy for me. Yeah, the Saturn return is a leveling up for sure. Hopefully. Now, again, if you have been lying to yourself, dodging responsibility, or just like letting people walk all over you, you're probably going to get kicked in the butt by Saturn a little bit. But that's only because you've been in a state of denial and you've been hiding from who you're meant to become. And in which case, yeah, that's going to suck for you. Not you, Lorna. I mean, for anybody else. Lorna says, globally see Saturn aspects as the scripture, what is hidden being shouted from the rooftop. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Kit Kat said, I tried referring to JFK's death and life charts after, is what popped up intuitively for me to reference. Okay. Also agree it is location based. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we could probably tune that in a little bit more based on like comparing the natal chart to the United States to or the mundane chart to the transits. Lorna says, Saturn moving into Pisces, seeing all aspects good and challenging, starting to dry fast, but stopped. Some strategies around me, other things opening up and flowing, healing happily. I did like a week of dry fasting. I didn't really notice a difference. I think maybe because I hold a lot of water, but like I never really got thirsty. I even worked out. Like it just didn't seem any different than not dry fasting. So, but I mean, I'm sure there's tons of benefits to it. Kit Kat said, also thanks for the compliment. Super intuitive. Ha ha ha. Good to chuckle. Yeah, for real. Like, that is a massive understatement. Yeah, Pisces is my favorite, most psychic time in my year. Always starts when Pisces rises. There you go. See? Yes. Right. I'm Nikki.
Yeah.
I'm done talking now. You can jump in anytime.
Oh my God, stop. Well, I mean, we have like, okay, so Jupiter's aspecting too. He's aspecting with like a quintile energy. And I know you don't read quintiles. You don't read anything in between a trine and,
yeah, sextiles
because they don't really show up, but it's just a creative.
Yeah.
It's just a creative aspect. It's just like he's adding his little touch of blessing to, whatever energies you're experiencing. But that's about all I can really add to it. I mean,
yeah. Last I looked, I do think the new moon, for some reason, this one coming up seemed pretty intense, but I might have also been thinking about the full moon for now. My days are melting into each other. I'm not sure where I am and what's going on. Lorna said dry fasting last year had lots of energy. This time mineral lost so much. Oh yeah. Had muscle. Yeah, that one, the cramping for sure. Had muscle cramps. I'm healing from major injury, scar tissue inflammation. And so it can help speed up sending love and healing to you, Lorna. Definitely meditation. That'll definitely help speed that process up too. Nikki, entertain for a minute while I try to pull up some of these clips that we can take.
Well, I was just gonna say, it was suggested to take Epsom salt baths too to kind of clean your energy out, and I got some badass like eucalyptus scented Epsom salts. It's just so good. I just felt like amazing. I soaked in that, and I want to recommend it. Get lavender, get something like. Whew. Like spa time, like just sink in, do little things that make you feel good. I mean, it's a good time to take care of yourself, your body, your mental health. It goes hand in hand. So yeah, I love it. Yeah, I just did that last night. I was like, that's it. I'm gonna diffuse all these energies, and I just melted. It It was like laying in there like, oh. I've been trying to like come up with time to do like little spa rituals, little like self-care rituals. I mean, it shows up different for everybody. And those used to be like going to get ice cream or, you know, shopping for a new nail polish color. And that used to be me years ago. And now it's way, way different. Now it's like massage, meditation, even just doing like, I don't know, it's not fake yoga, but I don't follow like a sequence. It's good to just like stretch your body.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
This one, when I go like that, oh my God. You ever feel that shit right in here? Do that.
Which one?
Oh, this one where you're just stretching all of that out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. That's the one. That's the one that kicks my ass, guys. So I've been doing that like warrior pose and stretching and just trying to do it. Okay. I'm not a yoga expert by any means. But I dig it. I dig the practice. So I've been
you definitely
trying to
should
get into it. Yeah.
Your
Do my
body
own
loves
yoga.
it. Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah. It feels so good to just stretch and feel where the energy is going.
Yes.
Like, where is it blocked? Where is it stagnant? We did the chakra class, so I've been focusing on that.
How's it going?
Really good. Okay, it makes sense to me now. All right, I wasn't able to get through the line before. Like it just felt like blocked, you know. And we talked about that. You know, doing not guided meditations, but your own, just like working through it all.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do the planetary associations, it flows. Like it just
Really?
flows.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, holy shit, this was it.
Can you walk me through that? Like how that works? Like, what do? Do you like imagine the planet at the chakra?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, I do. I imagine the planet at the chakra and I start at the base and then I work my way up and then I work my way down. And then sometimes I'll work my way up again. Like it just, the energy flow just works better for me anyway. Okay. And using that base planet has really just been it for me. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It makes so much sense. Why would it be anywhere else? And I'm not going to tell you what planets are where because you're going to have to take the class. But it will up your meditation game big time, especially if you're like me, where you associate these planets with energies inside of you. And, you know, and I'm a creative visualizing person and I've read the books. I've seen all this stuff, all the pictures. And I've never been one that's like, okay, big red glowing ball, focus, you know, and I can't because I'm like, well, is it spinning? Is it spinning the right way? You know, because I know. Well, you take Reiki, you know, I the Reiki master teacher, I've done all that stuff. So they're like visualize it. And then, you know, what bothered me about that too is, the light just comes from above you. It's just like this light. That's great. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. What the fuck are you tapping into? I know. So it's confusing for me because I had way too many questions and nobody to actually answer them. You can't even Google this shit because then you get people who are like, oh, Reiki this, Reiki that. And you get all these different opinions. But that's
worthless anymore.
No.
YouTube's getting there too. It's getting real hard to find anything useful on YouTube. I don't know what's going on.
Right. I Google and it's like all AI generated anyway.
Yep, it sure
Some of it's
is.
okay. Some of it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And some of it's just absolute horseshit. So
yeah.
Take what resonates and leave the rest. That's what Google needs to start saying as their tagline.
Yeah. All right, let's see if I can do this.
I've seen these guys before.
I'm definitely going to see it. Bless me.
Yeah, bless you.
Thanks. All right, let's see what's going on. I probably have to turn it down a little bit.
Some of the crazy stories. Let's just say Russia has some of the crazy stories. There's this lake there called Lake Baikal.
Can you hear it okay? Is it too quiet?
I would turn it up a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to turn it up.
deepest freshwater lake on Earth.
Dude, what is down there?
You're about to find out.
No.
So these Soviet divers in 1982, they were 164 feet down. All of a sudden, out of the depths, there were these 6 humanoid creatures wearing these tight metallic-looking suits, 9 feet tall, and wearing these weird jelly helmets. 6 of
Scariest
them.
possible thing you could see at that moment.
And so they tried to catch one of them, did something to where it caused this force field and shot all these divers up to the surface. They all got the bends. 3 of them ended up dying.
Oh my
and then the
gosh.
rest were basically silenced from ever speaking about what happened. There's reports even today from the same lake. It's so big that they're actually able to test submarines. And this one submarine on their sonar picked up these 6 objects that were coming towards them at like 400 miles an hour. They turned and it matched the path of the submarine. And so the submarine breached and these things just popped up out of the water and just shot off in the distance.
Yeah, dude.
In the United States, we see UFOs primarily where aquifers are. They're saying that there is, in fact, an underground tunnel connection with aquifers and different lakes and stuff to where these UFOs can travel and come out.
Pyramids are really built on aquifers too.
Yes, they are.
Wow.
That's me. Wow.
Yeah.
That chick. Wow.
I remember when I was in 6th grade, I remember them telling us, my teacher, he said that Michigan has, now I say Michigan because we're hit with all of the Great Lakes except for what's the one? Oh, the Canadian one.
Erie.
That's there's we have Erie too. It's the one that's farther up towards New York, between or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't matter because it's not one of ours. But anyways, Michigan exceptionalism, if you can't tell. But he said specifically that Michigan has 75% of the Earth's fresh water. So I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. And I went through life thinking that that was true. Well, it turns out that that's not even remotely true because you can take all of the water from the Great Lakes and put it into Lake Baikal. And I believe you still have room left over. And it was one of the things when I first came over here, I remember Andre telling me, and it was I was going through this phase of oh my God, everything that I ever learned about Russia was a giant lie, everything from top to bottom. And I couldn't, it was another thing slapping me in the face, basic science. The United States has its own version of science. And I went and looked it up because I thought he was lying to me. I'm no, you guys have just you're all Russian. You were propagandized, he thought I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff. No, he was right. So Lake Baikal, yeah, there's going back hundreds, if not thousands of years. There's accounts of crazy UFO sightings, weird ghost stories, all kinds of paranormal everything. People go there from all over the world, especially in Russia, though, because they believe it has healing powers. But they said that about that irradiated lake that Andre took me swimming in, too. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it sure does have healing powers.
Sorry. The best part of that video was that the Russian dudes weren't scared. They were let's fucking get them. That's
probably.
They're underwater. We expected to see some scary shit. Now let's go get it.
There are some stereotypes
ballsy.
that are stereotypes are kind of, people get mad, but a lot of them are true, and that's why they stick, right? But that is a stereotype. Russians are kind of not scared of stuff. Except you know what's bad? And this isn't to get political, but Russians think Ukrainians are crazy. They think no, they're insane. And I've heard some Americans too who are dude, I have Ukrainian friends and I don't know what's up. They're fearless. They'll just do anything. So if the Russians are scared of them, that must be serious.
Yeah.
Hi Necro Niki, in the guest chat. Yeah, they're at the Sunday Cool kids. I don't know how old they're probably not children, but yeah, they are pretty cool. What else was I going to tell you about this? That was probably it. All right, let's pick another one. Let's see what we got here.
Love those guys.
Present. Yeah, they got pretty cool.
They pop up on my YouTube all the time. I don't think I follow them either. They're always on my shorts list.
Yeah, they do mostly shorts, I think.
Did you know our zodiac sign might be different depending on whether you use sidereal or tropical astrology? Sidereal astrology aligns with the actual positions of constellations, reflecting Earth's wobble on its axis, known as precession.
10 years ago, this type of video would have been next to impossible to find. Now, granted, this one I had to kind of search for it a little bit, but just this basic information just wasn't around even 10 years ago.
This method is commonly used in Vedic astrology, capturing the true astronomical positions of celestial bodies at any given time. On the other hand, tropical astrology, popular in the West, is based on the seasons.
I'd have laughed so much if she just said it's based on bullshit. It's not based on anything.
You had AI, like, awesome accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's anchored to the sun's position at the spring equinox, dividing the eclipse.
It's not, though, because the sun's position is anchored to nothing. It's anchored to like whatever star is in that place, and it moves. So I think that was a typo, but whatever. I'll give you credit for trying.
Into 12 equal parts. As a result, tropical signs might not align with the actual constellations, creating a fascinating divergence. So next time you check your horoscope, remember, sidereal or tropical could change your sign.
Well, that's true. That's another. I've been seeing this come up over the last few like weeks or so. People thinking that somehow sidereal is for sure constellational, and it's not necessarily. As you know, Nikki, and some other people know, you can do whole sign or equal house sidereal astrology too. It has nothing to do with the house system. That's completely different. You could even use like Placidus or some of the other crazy house systems out there. I just don't know why you would. Like, if you're not going to do the constellations, at least do like the 30-degree houses. Some of those other. Nikki, do you know about like the other?
I explored all the house systems when I first started, and the one that I settled on was because it rang so true, and that was using the signs as houses, and I can't even take credit for that. So that's another astrologer who gave me a reading. I was like, no, because when I look at the houses, this is what, and I with Pluto. And I tested it with Pluto with like everybody in my family, all my friends, and then myself, because I was like, okay, this is so true. Oh, this is like, holy shit. And that's what got me. So using the signs as the constellations as houses. But like I've had other people show me different house systems and get almost the same like information. So like it to each his own. You know?
Yeah. And there's overlap. There's definitely some wiggle room between the houses and constellations. As you guys know, I don't get too hung up on that.
I just like that, the constellations are, well, they're different. I mean, they're all different sizes. I mean, it's all different spaces that we're working with. So it just makes sense to me.
Yeah, definitely.
A comet is headed towards Earth. Yeah, asteroid. It's possible this thing could hit our planet in what year?
2036. April 13th.
What will happen
if it strikes and it hits the center of where we think it'll be? It'll plunge into the Pacific Ocean, cavitate the ocean with a 3-mile wide hole, 3 miles deep.
Right.
And at that point, a pulse of water rushes towards the coastline of North America.
Right.
Oh, happy birthday to me.
Then the water sloshes back in, and it keeps sloshing. And you get these pulses. And every pulse that hits the west coast of North America, it reaches those $1 million homes in Malibu, brings them out to the ocean, rushes them back, and they don't have the same shape that they used to. A 1 in 45,000 chance that it'll hit. We got top people working on this problem. We got like the nuke folks who want to like blow the thing out of the sky.
Right,
and we got like the kindler, gentler solution where you send up a spacecraft that wants to fall in by gravity, but you use little retro rockets and it slowly tugs it out of harm's way. And that's what we want to do with this asteroid.
The comet is.
Yeah, but how far away does it have to be? Like, you have to get that thing out there into space now in order to start pulling it out of its orbit. Like, that's going to take a while. I don't know.
I think they've already been working on it, especially with Elon Musk and all of his stuff.
Specifically that issue? I don't know. I'm not sure that
I think they've known about a lot of different issues, but I honestly don't think that they would tell anybody. I didn't think they would even tell anybody. They just probably
at some point they'll have to, because like you have amateur astronomers.
Oh my God. You remember that call? Remember that call from what was the name of that show? Oh my God. Well, there was this Nightline show. And this government guy called and was like upset. And he was like, they know all these things are going to happen. They're not moving people out of the way. And then it gets cut off. I'm going to have to look it up.
No, I don't know what that is. Yeah, you have to.
Oh my God, I had it saved somewhere in my YouTube. I'll have to find it. Oh,
Okay.
but that was incredible. And we'll do it next show. Save it.
All right, let's do it for sure.
From the back of the Sphinx's head. If you were there at the summer solstice, you would see the sun rising very far to the left, far to the north of east. If you were there at the winter solstice, you'd see the sun rising very far to the south of east. But if you're there on the spring equinox, you see the Sphinx is looking directly at the rising sun, just like Angkor does. It's an equinoctial marker. It's clearly there to celebrate the equinoctial moment. And yes, there was a time when the lion Sphinx looked at a lion in the sky. And that time is around 12,600 years ago. It's not a single moment, it's an epoch of several hundred years. But the constellation of Leo was rising, housing the sun 12,600 years ago. Precession can be used to fix the date. The Hoover Dam has a star map built into it, which freezes the sky.
I think his dates are wrong. I think this age of Leo was like 26,000 years ago. What did he just say? 12,000?
He's like 12,600.
That's a very conservative estimate, and I think he's partially you know what I think he's doing? I think he's lining it up based on the alignment of Orion and the pyramids, as opposed to, because if you actually look at the age of Leo, which is probably what that Sphinx was trying to demonstrate, I think it's like some 20,000 years, 26,000 years. I don't know though. I could be off, you guys. I'm barely, like my brain's not all the way. I'll have to look it up.
Well,
I think
24. What's the difference? I mean,
I think it was way longer than 12,000. I'd bring it up now, but I'm afraid I'll crash my video card if I try to bring it up.
The Hoover Dam. And the reason that is there, the architect said, in remote ages to come, intelligent people with knowledge of precession would be able to discern the astronomical time of the dam's construction. This is the
So that's basically what they were doing. Like all of those ancient monuments, they were all aligned to celestially, and they just probably assumed that we weren't idiots and we'd be able to figure out when stuff was going on. So,
unless
I guess
they weren't practicing tropical 12,000.
No, they were just looking at the sky, just running with it. This one's important for all of you people.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yes.
During the eclipse time, don't cook food and eat. Keep it and then eat. Don't do that. Eat before or after, because this is life sense. This is not internet science.
Why you cannot eat food during those times? You keep saying, don't do it. And why?
Good question, buddy. I'm with you.
Yeah.
We have to accept you because you said so. That's your answer, implied answer. Oh, wait a minute. You gave the answer. This is called life sense, not internet science. You gave a catchphrase. So we have to just blindly accept your answer. But this is definitely not superstitious, definitely not religious belief.
Yeah, I've heard him say this. I've heard a few other people like repeat it. I don't know if this floats around out there in some other Hindu sect or something, that you're not supposed to eat during the eclipse because it basically like poisons the food. This is dumb.
Yeah.
That's really the only word that I can, the nicest word that I can think of to say it.
Dumb. I love that.
It's very dumb.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. So, but I mean, if you believe that it's going to poison your food or like then it might poison your food. But again, that's your program. Now that's the reality that you've accepted and you're going to create. And so you could get the negative benefits of that, but that's essentially nonsense. And as you guys know, Jaggi Vasudev, aka Sadhguru, is not my favorite person. So.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the superstitions around the eclipses and that kind of. I mean, I go out there and I stare at it, and
Yes.
Well, I
Why
mean, I
wouldn't
don't
you?
stare
It's
at
amazing.
it and get my eyeballs burned out.
The
Like,
lunar
but I
eclipse, you
go
can.
look at it. I'm not going to go hide. I'm not a tribes person. I'm not afraid of it. Okay. I'm not like,
Right.
to me, it's just another day. Only some cool shit's going on. The energy is a little weird. It's like really cool to feel it and like, I don't know, be a part of it. Like it's not
it's
superstitious. I mean, if you want to
amazing.
be, you can. I mean, that's on you, but
Exactly.
get out there and feel it. Like it's awesome. It's like
right.
I'm not superstitious when it comes to that. Get outside, stare at it, let it burn a hole through your head. Who cares? Like don't do that.
You should
the
be
lunar
like,
one isn't going to be like it's a partials, right? So I think we'll see it in the States. I don't know if you'll see it in Russia.
I don't know. It seems like we missed most of them, but I mean, it depends on the like. I'd rather just go to sleep. I've seen a lot of them, and they're great. But my sleep is important, and I like to sleep.
Yeah, me too.
Necro Nikki says, I meditate during the eclipse inside. The energy is super powerful. Is that the lunar or solar eclipse? Lorna says, in cases like food, always look to nature. Do animals stop eating during this time? Anciently, there were omens around a blood moon. Yeah, different cultures had different ideas and stuff. But if we like legitimately, is anything different happening during? The only difference is that during an eclipse is that either the moon or the earth is in between the other two planets. It's just a tighter conjunction. There's definitely shouldn't be any food poisoning going on. Animals do act weird for sure during the solar eclipse, but that's, I mean, the lighting's different, like weird stuff's definitely going on. I'm sure there's also like, electromagnetic shifts and things like that. But if it's dinner time during the eclipse, you guys, like, don't be afraid. Just go for it. Okay.
Why is the birthday so important? Like the day you're born?
Because when you're born, you're imprinted with energy. For instance, let's take you. What's your birthday?
August 20th, 2003.
Okay. Because you're born in 2003, you're going to have the characteristics of the goat energy because that is the year of the goat. So that means because you're a goat, you're going to have good goat years and you're going to have bad ox years. The next year of the ox is 2033. That's probably a year that you have to lay low a little bit. The next goat year is 2027. I'm willing to bet that you're going to fucking blow the hell up faster than any time in your life that year.
Why is the birth?
Okay, so that means that everybody born during the goat year would get the exact same like thing happening, and I'm not sure that that's statistically demonstrable.
Yeah, that's bullshit because I remember having like the water bore year and it fucking sucked. That's what I am in the Chinese astrology is like the pig. And that year really fucking sucked for me. I didn't blow up. Great shit happening. But whatever.
Yeah.
That sounded like absolute bullshit.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting though. It's probably something I would have looked up a couple years ago. Like, what am I? I gotta know.
Yes, and I'm sure a lot of people out there get freaked out and but again, that's a program if you want to accept that.
You want to hear something really fascinating? Sure. There are 3 places in the world which are really lacking in the investigation right now. One of them is the Amazon, 5.5 million square kilometers, very little archaeology done. Another is the Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert, tough place to work. I can understand why there's little archaeology done there, but the Sahara Desert was green during the Ice Age. It had a completely different climate regime. We should consider the possibility that missing parts of the human story are there. And then under the continental shelves, because sea level rose 400 feet. These are 3 domains that archaeology has largely not investigated. They say, well, why would we spend the money on marine archaeology? Much better to spend it on looking for shipwrecks rather than looking for signs of a lost civilization, because we archaeologists know there was no lost civilization. That's the argument for the resources there. The same with the Amazon and the same with the Sahara Desert. You want to hear something?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, they can see with satellite imagery now that there are old farming settlements in the Sahara Desert, which is it may have been green right up until about like 5,000-6,000 years ago. It might have still been pretty green. So that the dates keep shifting and they don't know for sure. And they keep finding these odd structures on the what used to be the coastlines, like a couple miles out to sea. And the only way that would have happened is if they existed before or like before the end of the last ice age. So I think at some point that stuff's going to come to light and they're going to not be able to like gaslight us quite as much.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The education system is pretty screwy here in my country. They don't really teach anything that's worth knowing a whole lot, in my opinion. It's just programming. It's just,
yes,
hey, repeat this shit. So when we put a piece of paper in front of you, you can fill out the right fucking stuff so we can get the funding that we need.
Yep.
You know, like that's how it's been. So
yes.
I forgot what we were talking about. Never mind. I'm just
Lorna said on the food, my point, I haven't seen any animals stop eating during lunar eclipses. I feed lots of animals, pet sitting. So yeah, I can't see my dog just being like, no, there's an eclipse, I better not eat this. Or my rats. So
Walker story.
I'm not going to say the guy's name. He's Navajo. He starts dating this girl. The girl's father doesn't like that they're dating. Long story short, he's way out of town, and his grandmother, her old home, is in this city that he's in, and no one has a key. There's a window pane that they can slide. That's how the family uses the house. So anyways, it's late. He goes over there, and as he's about to drift off into sleep, he hears the same window pane sound. Now he hears the lock. He's like, okay, it's not in my head. This is something that's manually opening the door. And then he hears what sounds like hooves like across the floor. So he takes the gun and runs out of the thing. Sure enough, the door was like kicked open, the window was slid open, something had come in. He like rationalized in his head, someone just had some really weird shoes, realized someone was in the house. Some chicken stilettos. Yeah, he's like, okay, that's that. Well, the next day his aunt comes over. They've got like some farm animals, and she saw that he was parked there. She's like, well, come check on the sheep with me. As he's telling the story, they walk up on what's supposed to be where the pregnant sheep was. It had a lamb in the night, the lamb mutilated. And she's like, I know what visited you last night. And she said, you'd be able to come back to you if it had something of yours bound with something of its. And he realizes his pen isn't on it. And so they just start digging. And in the crawl space, he finds a glass jar with fur wound around his pen. They believe skinwalkers are petitioned. So he believes that his girlfriend's father had asked a skinwalker to oppress him.
That's so terrifying.
Andrew, that was so scary.
yeah, that is horrifying.
That's real shit too.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
That is real shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I don't have any smart ass like know-it-all.
I don't either
on that. Like, no, that's real.
I don't know. Just try something like that with me once, and you're not gonna like what happens to you. That's all I have to say.
Well, I think skinwalkers are and there's like certain types of what we would consider now to be a demonic entities. I think that they're not like I think they're closer to something interdimensional or even extraterrestrial than they are like a ghost or something, in which case like they are tangible, you know. They can definitely do some damage and some physical stuff. So
yeah, you gotta be friends though. Like you can't just be like, hey, I need you to do something for me.
Lorna says, so wild on the East Coast, native skinwalkers lore is much more positive. I have yet to hear any positive skinwalker stories, so I would love to hear what you got. Yeah. That would be fascinating because I've never heard one. Let me see here. I had a client. She was I forget. I think she was Ojibwa or something, but her whole family thought that she had a skinwalker following her and like ruining her life and stuff. But I don't think that was it. I think it was more like drugs and stuff. if I had to like pick something, but who knows? You never know. Oh, Lorna said like bears being men. Okay. That's still scary as hell.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, definitely a little bit better. Oh, wait, hold on. I do not like, I don't know him personally, guys. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I just think he's a shill, and he's going to talk shit about astrology, so I'm going to like him less after this in just a second, I'm sure.
They all have names. And you go to the astrologers' tables and they say, oh, this is the rain sign, or this is a drought sign. And they take the names of things, and those names are what they interpret based on where the moon is, the sun is, where the planets are, or whatever the angle configurations there are. And each angle has a certain latitude over which they'll count it as a hit rather than as a miss. And so this gives extraordinary capacity of the astrologer to tell you what's going on in your life.
So
Okay, that's my face because he doesn't fucking even know what astrology is.
I'm
Okay.
sure he's never had an astrology reading. I mean, he's an astrophysicist. He doesn't want to hear it. He's
No.
got his own religion that he's into, so whatever.
Yeah.
Lorna says Cherokee warriors using animals to scope out their tribes. Is that this? But this, what do the skinwalkers do?
Are the skinwalkers the animals that scope out? I didn't even know they had hooves. I was still trying to figure out what skin.
Some of them do. They're weird. They got all different kinds of shapes. It depends on the tribe and stuff. Like their stories change.
Mandela effects the internet made you believe, part 3. Firstly, many people have been posting the Mandela effect of how Mickey Mouse never wore suspenders, but that
did Mickey Mouse have suspenders?
Shut the fuck up. I thought he did, didn't he?
I thought he did too.
That's not true at all, because
What's holding his fucking pants up then?
Right, otherwise they're just pants.
Old cartoons, he can be seen wearing suspenders.
Okay, so he did have them.
It's definitely not a Mandela effect. Next, social media has made people believe that this Target logo never existed with this many rings. However, when Target originally came out, this was their logo for a long time, and then it switched, so you're not crazy. Now, there's a Mandela effect where everyone remembers 7-Eleven having a capital N. Well, it originally did, but it was also changed because the owner's wife felt like all capital letters was just too harsh. Finally, for some reason, nobody remembers the Quaker Oats guy looking like this, but instead they remember him like this.
They look the same.
That's
look
the same
guy.
I was gonna say.
Which is true until 2012 when they wanted to give him a healthier look. Debunk.
Okay, well, those are just, I didn't see any Mandela effects in there, so sorry I put you through that.
Recently, I did find out that I can't have oats or oatmeal. It does give me...
You know, you're not missing much, and I'll prove it to you. Try to eat some, well, don't actually, but like in theory, try to eat some oats without sugar, like loaded up with sugar, and it's disgusting. It's like eating cardboard. Nobody should eat some. If you have to like load something up with salt or sugar to eat it, your body probably doesn't actually want that.
Well, it's a mind game thing, you know, like I want carbs, I want bread. Like,
yeah.
So I tried it and I'd been a while since I had it. So I tried it and I definitely was like, I can't do this anymore.
Lorna said they turn into the animals to check out other tribes and for protective things. Oh, okay. I gotcha. So we're not talking about like, we're talking about like shapeshifters within the tribe. I guess those do classify as skinwalkers, but yeah, not like the scary evil demon stuff that people say like, oh, the skinwalkers are really just a guy that he did like this special ritual. He like killed somebody or he did this thing and now he's got these skinwalker powers. I don't think the scary skinwalkers that's what they are. This is just my take on it. I think they're actually some demonic entity that pops in and out of these portals and the wherever in the wild, and they do spooky stuff. And then people think they like create this story like, oh yeah, it used to be a guy and he was really bad. I don't think they're human. I don't think they were ever human, but I've never seen one personally, so I can only speculate. But
really fascinating.
I believe them. I believe that is.
They're real, whatever they are.
I think they're real. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to hear something really fascinating?
Sure. If we go back to 1908, many people will know that an event took place in Siberia called the Tunguska. Interestingly enough, that date, June 1908, is one of the two periods in the year, June and November, when the Earth passes through the Taurid meteor stream. And what happened there was that an object that's estimated to have been about 100 meters in diameter blew up in the air over Siberia. It flattened 2,000 square miles of trees. It was an uninhabited area. Nobody was killed. But if that had happened over a major city, it would have been cataclysmic. And that was just a small bit. And the reason the Tunguska event matters is because it happened pretty much in our time. It happened in 1908. It tells us that we're still in interaction with the Taurid meteor stream, that it's not distant and unimportant danger. It's a real and present danger. If that object that exploded over Siberia had exploded over a major city, we'd all be paying very close attention.
You want
And you know what? That's probably what it's going to take to get people to actually care, is to have some real close call like that, where they're like, all right, maybe we should quit trying to have wars all over the world and maybe try to protect ourselves from actual danger instead of just starting shit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. I really feel like sometimes Hollywood pop culture really shows you like what's going on. And like, remember when we had that string of alien movies and, you know, the Armageddon movies? I mean, it's just kind of setting us up, I think, to see that kind of stuff in the future. We're already seeing it. It's already like happening. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I flew back from Moscow to Ekaterinburg yesterday, and it was night. Well, I got to see the sunset, you know, in the sky. I'm like super dorky, guys. I like was crying. Like, we're like up above the clouds. I was in the Air Force. I actually was air crew, so I flew all the time. You wouldn't think it was a big deal, but like I go up and like you're looking at the clouds from above it. All I can think about is how many millions of people, billions of people lived on the planet, and like what they would have given to be able to be above the clouds and like see the sky and, you know, the sun from that angle and see like the moon over the clouds. Like, it's, I don't know, it's just amazing. But anyways, I'm like looking down at Russia. And there's nothing, there's no lights, you guys. There's no lights. I saw two tiny little lights outside of the cities. I mean, once we got outside of Moscow and you're on the way, there's like nothing out there. It's just woods and wilderness, and it's just awesome. Like, it's such a great country. Necro Nikki said, I want to learn more about doing magic with the skinwalkers. I think it involves a little murder. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure it's like different between like either digging up bodies. I'm not real sure. Hopefully no necrophilia is involved, but I can't say that it's not. I just don't know.
The moon is actually more like a planet than a moon. At 1/4 the Earth's size, no other object in the solar
I think that's been updated. I think it's 1/3 of the size.
system has a moon this large. This occurs nowhere else, not in our solar system or any other solar system that we found. And the moon orbits much more closely than it should. And its orbit is also a mystery. It's the only object we've ever observed with a near perfectly circular orbit. We don't see this anywhere else either. Because of this near perfect orbit and its size and distance from the Earth, the moon appears in the sky as almost the exact same size as the sun. The moon is
I don't think it's because the moon is fake and was pulled into orbit. It's definitely not trapping souls. At least I haven't seen any evidence of that.
I was just gonna say that.
I do think though that the moon is probably like another, like at least the remnants of some other planet or something that was pulled into our orbit. But I suspect that the perfect like the tidal lock, which is why we only see the one side, and also the orbit has something more to do with just the sizes basically balancing each other out. That's my take on it. I'm definitely not an astrophysicist, and you know, that's my intuitive guess. Lorna says, that's beautiful, Abby, not dorky. It's a little dorky, Lorna, but it's okay. I own up to it. I'm not embarrassed. Validation connected to nature and the cosmos, lovely sense of wonder. I was crying a lot, like the whole flow, like, oh, it's so beautiful. The guy next to me, he probably thinks I'm sick because I'm sniffling. I like got my sunglasses on. I'm like trying to pretend not to cry.
actually more like...
Oh, we just watched this one. Hold on, let me switch. Nope. Present.
I'm a bit primitive about the moon. I'm just like, God put it there. It was there on purpose.
I don't think it's a alien situation for sure, or like it's definitely not a soul trap, you guys. That was created in the 70s by one guy, came up with that idea. I don't care what Ola says. I've been digging around, and there's nothing in mythology that indicates that the soul is stealing your or the moon is stealing your soul. And
well, I actually was someone shared a video with me, and there were a few ladies who called Ola out on her practice.
Oh, there were?
Yeah, it's already happened. Like just about 6 months ago, there's some psychic ladies who were like, what in the F is this? And they got a whole video dedicated toward debunking Ola.
You gotta send it to me. I'm still getting hate mail from that video. There's a bunch of comments on there I gotta go on. I just haven't had time the last few weeks. And I'm sure they're not helpful. I'm sure they didn't give us any evidence to prove her. They're just like, you guys don't know anything. You guys
I
are
don't know
dumb."
anything. I don't know anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop. Let's save it for another episode.
Yeah, let's do another. We'll do a whole one. We can
Do a
debunk
whole
that.
one. We'll listen to their video.
Here are some Mandela effects that will make you question reality. Firstly, many people remember Mona Lisa having a blank expression.
That version that he's showing actually looks more like the one that I remember, but that's not how it looks now.
However, in this famous
Yeah, like this is how it looks now. She was never straight up smiling. We had
No.
whole debates about this in art class about like why'd they call it a Mona Lisa smile? She's clearly not smiling. This isn't. They're like, oh, it's like a metaphor, or she's just barely smiling, and she's clearly smiling now.
painting,
Yeah,
she's
that's
been
not
smiling
even
the
like the real painting, though. They've got people who
maybe
have replicas
whole time. Next, in the famous movie E.T., he says the line E.T. phone home. However, he never said that, and he really said this.
E.T. phone. That's ignorant.
What the fuck did he say?
E.T. home phone and not E.T. phone home.
Shut up. He said E.T. phone home because I remember having
Right?
to watch this movie because somebody else in my house loved it and I didn't really love it that much and I had a headache and I had to fucking listen to it
Over and over and over again.
Yeah, and he says E.T. phone home.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, back then, because I don't know about you guys, we only had like 2 TV channels, and we just had to watch VHS tapes over and over and over again, like the same one. So you like remember them.
Now, everyone can agree that Mickey Mouse wore suspenders, right? I mean, it just looks more accurate. But it looks like my childhood was a lie because throughout all of the episodes, he was never seen wearing suspenders. And finally,
Didn't you? This same kid show us?
Yeah,
videos.
It's supposed to be part 2. Yeah, he's
we all-
mishmashing. He's recycling content.
Okay,
We'll forgive
Remember
him for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
the famous Queen song, We Are the Champions, right? And it ends by saying, we are the champions of the world. However, I don't know why we think of this, but it never says of the world. It just ends.
Well, at the end it doesn't, but in the song the actual refrain does have "Are of the world," like just very quietly as they fade to the next verse. Oh, he's playing it. Right, that part does just cut off.
I'm gonna end up going to listen to the song later.
I know, right? Man, I have no control to not dance. If I hear a beat, it's all over. Doesn't matter what goofy song it is. Holy tomato!
I love dancing.
I need to commit to astrology and actually learn what all of these glyphs mean, what this foreign language actually means. It was the first heartbreak of my life, the first time in my life when I got my heart seriously heartbroken by a guy. And I was committed to understanding our synastry and his chart and why it didn't work out with mine and what was going on during the time when he texted me, when he tried to come back into my life. I tracked the data. This was back in 2012, 2013. And you want to know the real kicker? You want to know the real weird thing about why this corresponds to today? Well, at the time when I had that heartbreak, Venus and Mercury were both in Aries going retrograde and about to go back into Pisces. And
Okay, but wouldn't everyone have broken up with someone during that time then? If that
I
crazy
wanted to break
breakup,
up
why
with
did
mine around that time.
Yeah, but like,
I remember
wouldn't
that.
okay, I definitely don't.
But was it in Aries? Was it in Aries? It was probably in Pisces, right?
Yeah, I don't know what she's using, so who knows?
that's literally happening right now. Venus and Mercury are in Aries, about to go retrograde together in Pisces. And so it's interesting how this story is coming up for me right
Are they
Okay.
Venus and Aries? Is that right? Is she right, Nikki?
Oh no, man! Now I gotta look. All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, I don't know.
What did she say? Like
I don't know. Let me
April,
rewind it. Hold on.
happening right now. Venus and Mercury are in Aries, about to
They're in Pisces.
go retrograde together in Pisces.
Oh, wait, yeah,
And so
okay.
it's interesting how this story is coming up for me right now. Why did I?
But she makes it sound like they're in Aries and they're going to go into Pisces, but they're not. They're still in Pisces.
Get started with astrology? And it made me think about how that experience with him made me get into astrology in a deeper way that I hadn't done before. I started watching the Leo King on YouTube like every day.
I don't know who that is. You know who that is?
I sounds familiar, but I'm not somebody
Started
I watch.
researching everything that I could about synastry and why we didn't work and what was going on with our synastry and what was going on with his chart, and seeing that, you know, Mercury was squaring his Mars, and it was all in the chart. It was all in his chart, my chart, and our chart together. And it's just fascinating how you never know how one small experience in your life can introduce you to astrology and change your life. Your entire life can change because of one Google search, one decision to look something up.
Synastry is easier to see because you're looking at the interplay between the actual planets, which means you don't technically, they don't have to be in a certain constellation. I think in synastry, the constellations are actually secondary, tertiary. Like, I don't think that they make quite as much of a difference. So I think that she had a much better shot of seeing the relationships, even just by doing like a synastry comparison.
Well, even just looking at the other person's chart, you know, like, and reading their chart, you can tell what kind of person they are, and looking at their transits and what's going on. Like, that's what I did. And I was like, fuck this guy.
Right.
Eventually, yeah, when you get good at reading charts, you figure it out. So
one interest. That's why it's so important to never stop data collecting, to never stop being curious about those interests and curiosities that are calling you. Those are callings. And if you wanted to learn more about this, comment the word timeline down below. The doors have opened for Trust Your Timeline, my live astrology timing course. If you want to learn this for yourself and get started learning about how to read your own timing, this course is amazing, and doors will close next week.
Well, why didn't she then, if she got something good out of it, why would she look at the Mercury retrograde, which is what I would pick up? Why wouldn't she see that as a positive? It doesn't sound like, again, so that's like us superimposing our emotions onto the chart, and we see like, oh, I had a breakup, this was really painful, so now I'm associating these transits with pain. But somebody else could see that same breakup and be like, oh, I'm so glad I'm out of this relationship. It was sucking the life out of me. So again, like, I don't know. I think it's, and some of this too, we just have to generalize just the nature of the game, right? I don't know that we can get around that.
Well, I mean, I think it's easier to point at two retrograde planets. You know, it's when you're explaining it to other people, because they're like, oh, that's general information that everybody knows about, versus trying to explain where her Saturn was and what her Jupiter was doing and all of these other, you know, aspects that were going on in her chart. I mean, a lot goes into it. If you have a, you know, long standing relationship with somebody, I'm sorry, but Venus and Mercury going retrograde isn't going to make you break up with a person. There's a lot more to that.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on for sure.
I don't understand. It was a good plug. It was a good plug for her shit. Yeah. Got me interested.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example, why are all the windows closed when you're flying over Greenland? But seriously, you know, like, mine's open, and I was sitting there, and a person next to me called the flight attendant and said, could you tell, I could hear her. She said, could you tell that guy that I'm watching a movie and he's got the window open? And she rotated by 180 degrees and told me that. And I said, could you tell her that I'm flying in an aluminum tube at roughly the speed of sound, that Greenland is right down there? And if you ask somebody 300 years ago, would you like to see Greenland from the sky? They'd probably say yes. So that's what I tried out.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to sit and look at your screen that you could do anytime when you could, like, look at the earth from a mile up? Like,
anytime I flew, I wanted to do. One time I flew though, and I sat next to this guy who was a dick about it. He opened the window up, and then only he was allowed to, like, look out it. Like, he kept, like, looking and blocking. And I'm like, you're a fuckhead. Like, why are you doing this? It's my second time flying, and you're fucking with me. Like, let me see out the window, man.
Yeah, some people, I probably was doing that, but I don't think the people next to me were sleeping. So I do that sometimes, like, lean back and make sure, see if they want to look out the window. Usually during takeoff and landing, they're into that.
I will book a window seat. And if you're sitting in my seat, I will kick you out of the seat. I don't care if this is a budget airline. We'll fight.
I did kick someone out of the seat before. I caused a whole scene and everything. It was in Armenia. I had to yell at her in Russian. Fortunately, she understood. And, like, She's like, well, I'm already here. She's this old
Yeah.
Russian, and oh, it made me so mad. I'm like, well, I paid for it. I wasn't having none of it. None of
Yeah.
it. Okay. Lorna said, saw Queen live, my first official concert with my uncles, made me love rock. Lol. Yeah, Queen is amazing, or were technically, but that would be an awesome concert. I don't have any like super cool. Yeah, like I never saw Led Zeppelin. You know, like there's just certain people who are like, oh, wouldn't that be great to see this person live?
I always wanted to see Tom Petty, and I was just like, oh, there's next year, and then he fucking died, and I was so upset. And then I was telling my clients about it, and one of my clients was like, actually, I'm friends with his wife on Facebook because my so-and-so, it was like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon shit going on, and she pulled it up, and I was able to like, see, that's Tom sitting in the back in his chair at Christmas. I was like, well, I got something better then, I guess. Got a little.
You came close, Nikki. You came close.
It wasn't him performing or anything, but I got to see what his personal life looked like a little bit. So
yeah,
it was kind of nice. It's kind of cool. Got to hear about it. But yeah, go to that concert. Whatever concert you want to go to, just go to it because they could die any day.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to a Tori Amos concert. Like I was such a huge fan forever, but I don't know. Then like at some point, like her music really changed, and then after that, I'm like, well, I don't want to go to hear like her new stuff, which I know is terrible, right? Like I want to go to her concerts from the '90s. I don't want to go to one of the new ones. So
yeah, I felt that way too. I was into shock rock, and I remember going to the Marilyn Manson concert with my friend, and it was the one where he was like in the alien costume, like Antichrist Superstar shit was done, and he was already doing the weird like titty alien stuff.
Yeah,
but he mixed a little bit of the other stuff in it, so it was okay. It wasn't a bad concert to go to.
Good.
I saw a girl choke slam a guy. It was so cool. It was actually my friend. Yeah. He kicked her in the back, and she was like 6 feet tall. And I would like turn around and look. I'm like, whoa, what happened? And she turns around and grabs him by his neck and picks him up and slams him onto the ground. And it was the coolest thing I've ever seen a girl do. I was like, wow, you're amazing.
Mermaids Wear Hat says, I would give my left arm to see Tori, see 90s Tori. Yeah, right. A whole different universe. Lorna said, maybe they will have some AI hologram concert of Tom same day. Vegas has one of Michael Jackson, family said was pretty good.
That's a little weird, but I might do. I might be okay with that. I'd be like, I know it's not real. But...
maybe they'll clone him and then make him, perform.
Oh God!
I'm sure someone's already got that idea out there. It's only a matter of time.
It's like Futurama, where they keep all the heads in little fucking globes and just pop it on a person. And didn't Walt Disney do that? Isn't Walt Disney like Frozen? I mean,
possibly.
I'm telling you, if you get froze like that, like you can't come back. What the fuck? Like. Science and weird shit, like you're gonna reanimate your body.
They could. Frogs freeze. There's a lot of like amphibians and stuff. They freeze. They got something in their blood that when the ice crystals expand, it just like doesn't hurt them for some reason. They could probably like create some mutant, gene that allows you to freeze yours. But as it is, no, like the freezing is very damaging to the cell. The water like expands and busts up the cell.
Yeah.
So I don't know why somebody would want to do that.
I don't know why they'd want to live that long either. I'm like like Mr. Meeseeks. Like I want to come here, get my shit done, and like go, gone. Like
right. I don't know.
I don't want to live that long.
Yeah, everybody's got their thing. Well, guys, I gotta go find a courier to ship my documents to America. DHL wanted like $500 to ship a single piece of paper to the United States. Like, you guys are out of your mind. So yeah, I gotta go do that. So thanks to Lorna. Who else? We had Kit Kat. Who else was on? I saw Roxanne on here earlier. I think I said mermaids wear hats.
Yeah, Necro Niki.
Necro Niki. Yeah, thanks you guys for jumping on with us and hanging out. We'll be back. The next time I'm coming on doing my solo thing is on the 17th because I'm taking the week off for the most part. It's been crazy the last few weeks. You guys have no idea what I went through to get these classes put together on time. So I'm just taking some time off and trying to get my life back in order. But me and Nikki will be back next week. And do we have a guest next week? I'm not sure, Nikki. Stand by while I check.
No, I usually check the website to see if anybody's coming on, but I
know I haven't been uploading the website. We don't have a lot of guests actually because I've kind of forgot to keep reaching out to people. So
that's okay. The course is
yeah. So next week I don't see anybody, but I know Michael Hardigan's coming on April 2nd. Who else do we have? We have JD Temple coming on April 16th, and we might fill up some of these spaces in the interim. If you guys know of anybody cool who you'd like me to try to reach out, and not too cool, because if they're too cool, they're not going to respond to my emails. But if you know anybody who's like a little cool, you know, like definitely let me know, and I can reach out to them and see if we can do that. All right. Well, you guys take care of yourself. Nikki, did you have anything you want to say before we sign off here?
Oh, no. I mean, have a good eclipse, everybody. I mean, don't take it too seriously. Try to relax. You know,
More
try
relaxing.
to just chill out. I mean, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. That's it.
Yes, agreed. 100%. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Have an awesome week. And